This is Keyshawn J. Willimax coming to you live from the Seaport District at Pier 17, brought to you by Chase. Guys, the huge news overnight. The Panthers traded for Christian McCaffrey to the Niners. Yeah, traded for. The Panthers traded McCaffrey to the Niners. Yeah. That's big enough news. The haul that they got from McCaffrey. I was thinking maybe they could get a third and change, maybe a second. Would you pay a second-round pick? It's a hefty price. They got a second, a third, and a fourth in 2023, and a fifth in 2024.
And I tried to tell you this several days ago when you were mentioning the Buffalo Bills, Max, and I'm not trying to be right or nothing like this, but it just...
But you were right?
Well, I mean, yeah, but you gotta kind of follow the history, and it makes sense. It made sense for both teams. There's a relationship in Carolina and Buffalo, but there's a stronger relationship with San Francisco and Carolina with McCaffrey because of the Shanahan situation, along with Johnny Lynch that played for Mike Shanahan in Denver, and Kyle Shanahan was. So it's all the Shanahan.
Can you explain that to me? Because I'm ignorant. Like, what do you mean with McCaffrey?
So Ed McCaffrey played for Kyle Shanahan's dad in Denver. For the Denver Broncos. They grew up next door neighbors. It's a relationship. Yeah. Stanford, Johnny Lynch. John Lynch also played for Shanahan. They were all on the same staff. Yep. It's just this whole Denver Bronco relationship. They watched the kid grow up. So that haul that you're talking about, Max, is more of a relationship trade. I'm going to give up Max's kid can throw 95-mile-an-hour fastballs at 2 years old. I'm going to trade everything I can because it's Max's kid. You know?
So on top of the relationship, you know what my biggest takeaway from that deal going down that I learned this morning, obviously about reading it and talking to you guys? It's like, hire minority coaches. You hire minority coaches. Then when those coaches ascend, you get draft capital in return for the coaches. Mike McDaniel, Robert Saleh. When those coaches go, that's how you're able to have the capital to then go have a trade with the Panthers to acquire a CMC. Think about that.
Yeah, and they also got something from Mayhew, the general manager that's over the Commanders, that was underneath. And kind of John Lynch brought him in. Mayhew was in Detroit. He gets fired. He's sitting around for a little bit. John gets the job. He brings him in to kind of teach him how to become a general manager and learn. And now all of a sudden he gets hired to the Commanders. So the Commanders got to give up the third-round pick. So now the San Francisco 49ers have a ton of third-round picks. So it's not really giving up more than what it really is. They kind of got extra bonuses, and they say, okay, we can go get Christian McCaffrey.
Let's back up now from that. So there was the Rooney Rule. Hey, there are no black coaches hardly in the league, even though the league is 75% black. What's up? So the Rooney Rule is you have to interview at least one so-called minority coach, right? Okay. Yeah. That wasn't working. They still weren't high because they was like, when you make people do stuff like that, okay, fine, here's our kind of token interview just to check the box, and now we're going to hire who we want, which was mostly all white guys still, right? So now to tweak it, to make it better, well, we need more black coaches in the pipeline because the excuse is, well, there were no qualified black candidates really. So the way they did that, one of the ways they've tried to address this is incentivize teams to hire minority candidates for coaching jobs by saying if another team takes that coach off your staff by giving them a job, you get compensation in the draft. I think it's a third-round pick now, right?
Yeah, it's a third-round
pick. Right. So you're incentivizing. Is it working? Well, this is an example.
For the 49ers.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
This is an example. And now that it's worked for the 49ers like this, now it should have a positive effect on the league because the league has to be noticing
But I'm sitting up here saying that, my first thought when I saw that news go down was, man, the Buffalo Bills really missed a huge opportunity to add to their backfield, right? Because it seems like that's one area that they struggle with outside of Josh Allen. But then after hearing how it goes down, you're like, well, is there any way that the Bills could ever offer as much compensation as the 49ers did in order to get it in return?
But it's also, again, I go back to the relationship thing. Hey, Christian, you want to come play for us? Man, you want to come home?
Yeah. What's a Stanford, man? You're right there.
You want to come home? Yeah. I'll get it done. Or you're going to wind up in Buffalo. Oh, no. It becomes that type of
Key
conversation.
has had that conversation
I've had
before.
those conversations before.
No.
But in the end, the biggest thing, though, now that they got this, what does it do for the San Francisco 49ers? Does it make the San Francisco 49ers a legit NFC championship contender again?
Does it?
It does if they could get healthy on the defensive side of the ball. They got to get healthy on the defensive side of the ball because the defense on the back end, especially in that secondary, they're young, inexperienced. Certain guys over there have got to get to some experience. And
the reason they're 3-3 for two reasons. One, Trey Lance wasn't ready. They should have been with Jimmy G if they were serious about winning this year, right? And two, the defense. What Key just said is not the defense, really.
Well, Trey Lance only played one game.
Right, they were trying to develop him.
But let's be real. Even before they didn't have CMC, they were a contender. It may not be like the top flight contender, but it's not like the NFC is pounding down your door with juggernauts, with the exception of maybe the Eagles, who they still have an easier schedule, and they are the cream of the crop. I'm saying that. But the opportunity was still there for them to be there. So
I thought they could have gotten to the Super Bowl before the trade if the defense got healthy.
You're damn right. Regardless of the defense has to get better, but they are contenders.
You do understand Jay likes Christian McCaffrey.
Me too, man. A lot to like with McCaffrey.
The 49ers are his team now.
Stop.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.